You ask me who I think is wrong in this war. I can only answer your question with a question. Who can you call wrong when both sides have cut you deep? What does a label like Shadowgun or Torment really mean when neither side can bring your loved ones back? My father, like so many other fathers, followed orders for a chance to come home. So how can I fault anyone for doing the same? I'll tell you how. How does one become a soldier in the Torment army? The early invasion was brutal, and after weeks of famine and slaughter, the locals were given an ultimatum. Adult, able males could temporarily join the Torment army and accept minor body modifications in exchange for the freedom of their families. My father made the decision to allow his body to be changed so ours could be free. He and a small group of his friends would be called Crushers within the next few days. I remember feeling grateful that he'd be amongst his friends. After the genetic shuffling was done, I wondered if any sense of friendship could even remain in these new bodies. Crushers, as we all know, are terrifying to witness. Their inception is even worse. I could have used the time before his change to just share my dad's company. But in reality, I used the time to hack the security systems and cameras that surrounded the facility that would be used to change him forever. By the time they had my dad under the knife, I could see every detail. Crushers are started by removing the arms at the elbow. On the left arm, a massive shield is attached. On the right arm, a machine gun. In order to sustain the muscle mass needed to carry these heavy attachments, the host is injected with steroids made from the biomaterial of fallen Shadowguns. I watched my father transform in agony. By the time the procedure and healing process was done, I could only identify him by a number they used to track his status in the Torment. He physically looked like every other Crusher on the planet. I didn't know how, but I knew I had to keep an eye on him. From afar, but never out of sight. As the years passed, my father and I secretly engaged in a race to see who would develop quicker. He as a soldier, or me as a hacker. When my dad left the conversion facility, I spent months figuring out how to find him again. I finally hacked my first Thorn and knew it was my way in. Thorns for years have been the airborne surveillance and attack drone of the Torment. They strike like bees in hives. With a full camera and twin laser pistols, I knew if I could figure out how to control one of these things, I could keep an eye on my dad and give him some support when he needed it. Using some questionable satellite relays from the old Earth days, I was able to eventually hack into the security systems with the Torment. I found a Thorn station in the same planet as my dad. I took control of its camera and movement quick enough to see my dad crack a Shadowgun in two with the edge of his shield. Maybe he didn't need my help after all. Over the years, Dad and I were shuffled across the planet, mainly doing low-level security work. In other words, we sat around and waited for big things to happen that usually never occurred. But in the few cases of combat, I really got a sense of how bad my dad wanted to come home. Not to say that he was a coward, but often I'd see my dad shuffle into a corner, duck under his shield, place his rifle blindly over his shield, and fire into the air in hopes that it would all go away. I could only hope and wonder if he was thinking about us, just trying to come home to his family. Little did he know, I was usually across the room, shooting from a corner, manning a Thorn, keeping my dad alive via remote-controlled firepower. At least on most days. When the combat alarm went off, to be honest, I didn't think much of it. We'd seen a pickup in activity recently, and we dealt with it accordingly. The ground glistened with the ammo dropped from fallen Shadowgun soldiers who thought they possessed the skill required to overcome our base. I turned the corner to find my dad in his usual combat position. Shield up, head down, rifle up, trigger squeezed, prayers launched in air hoping that a target gets hit on the opposite side. It was honestly becoming terrible to watch. Remote manning a Thorn, I flew to the opposite corner of the combat and began picking off Shadowgun soldiers one by one with fire. As I saw my dad surrounded, the screen went dark. By now I'd become accustomed to losing a Thorn or two in combat, and I could get one rigged up and ready to go within a couple of minutes. It seemed like an eternity. I booted up the proper command sequence, did a quick weapons check, mobility check, and the HUD popped in. Shot across the room and saw my father laying in a pool of his own blood, neatly tucked next to a Shadowgun soldier who'd met the same fate, likely from each other's weapons, likely directed by someone they never met, following orders, trying to get home to their families. I think a lot about those days before my dad was changed, and how I used his last moments to learn how to hack video systems instead of just sharing some time with him. Didn't keep him alive. Instead, it gave me this burden. It gave me a vivid window into my dad's afterlife. You ask me who I think is wrong in this war. I can only answer your question with a question. Who can you call wrong when both sides have cut you deep? What does a label like Shadowgun or Torment really mean when neither side can bring your loved ones back? Hey guys, Sense here. Thank you so much for checking out the first episode. If you like the concept, this is something that I'm trying out. Do me a favor and let me know either via a like or a subscription to the channel. Let me know in the comments below what you liked, what you didn't like. If you're a fan of the Shadowgun Legends franchise, let me know what in the storyline you'd like me to cover going forward. And if you really want to help this come out into fruition, I'll have a donate link in the description as well. Going forward, I'd love to improve the gear we're using to record things. I'm doing all of the mixing and mastering in-house, all of the recording in-house. I would love to consider having some additional vocal talent available. And all that does take time. So if you do want to see this type of content continue to go forward, do me that solid like, subscribe, and if you can, a couple of bucks in the donation goes a whole long way. Till the next time, take it easy and happy leveling up. Peace.